Right. Well, my name is Lieutenant Colonel Terry Bryan, United States Marine Corps. I enlisted in the Marine Corps when I was 18. Ultimately, got discharged with an honorable discharge. I still remember my serial number, 1944062. Went back to college, got a degree, and ended up in the Marine Corps as a second lieutenant. Well, why did I join the Marine Corps? It was a dare. There were two of my buddies that said, let's go and enlist in the Marine Corps. Well, they didn't, and I did. As time went on, as a second lieutenant, I ended up flying. Actually, I was with the 9th Marines first as a platoon commander, and then went to flight school. Got my wings in 1966, and was actually transferred to Hawaii. That was a tough gig, and joined VMF 212, which is a F-8 fighter squadron, and that was really something that I call serendipity. VMF 212 had just come off the Oriskany, Yankee station in Vietnam. And when they brought the squadron back to Hawaii, the junior officers were all transferred out. But the the more experienced officers, the majors mostly, stayed with the squadron. And here came 6 of us, brand new nuggets, checking into the squadron. Each one of those officers that came off the Oriskany picked one of us to mentor. And they mentored us the entire time that we were in that squadron. We learned exactly how to fly the F-8, and we got very, very good at what we did. The F-8 was a fighter aircraft. It wasn't an interceptor. It wasn't anything but a pure fighter aircraft. Matter of fact, our squadron was VMF 212. The squadron was the only squadron at Kaneohe Bay, so we could do pretty much anything we wanted to do. The F-8 was flying that aircraft was like flying a thoroughbred racehorse. By that I mean it was very skittish, but it was an honest aircraft too. If you were pulling and trying to get into a max turn radius, you could fight the aircraft out of the cockpit. Why? Because when you got to the point where you're at max turn radius and you kept pulling, the airplane would do this. Depart and yaw. So when you saw that, all you do is let go a little bit, and you were at max turn radius. So for those 2 years that we were in the squadron, we did 6 months of advanced tactics, 6 months of air-to-air gunnery, 6 months of tactics, 6 months of air-to-air gunnery. We got very, very good at what we did. Now, Vietnam had just started and was getting pretty hot. And I thought, I need to go there too, just like all the other pilots. And we were sort of stuck in the squadron. So to get to Vietnam, it took 3 letters to my monitor. Monitors were the ones that would assign you from Headquarters Marine Corps. By the time I sent the 3rd letter, then I finally started getting orders to Vietnam. But I had just finished Aviation Safety Officer School. Then I was transferred to the East Coast for training in the F-4, and after that, to Vietnam. So there was a 19-month period where I was away from the home. The training, then Vietnam. I was assigned to VMFA 542, Vietnam, in Da Nang. And I flew roughly 300 missions, of which 286 of them were combat missions. On our days off, we flew in South Vietnam. And our work days, we flew in North Vietnam, South Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. And some of those missions in Laos and Cambodia were pretty skittish. We flew at night most of the time. And as you came off the target, you could see, we had mirrors up here in the F-4, you could see the 37 millimeters that was coming. They shot at the sound, so they were always, the the weapons were impacting behind us, not on us. So it was but it was still pretty scary to see that at night. And normally the tour in Vietnam was 6 months in the squadron, 3 months as a forward air controller, and then another 3 months in a staff position. But there were a couple of us, myself and a good friend of mine, a longtime friend, Denny Craney, that we were kept in the squadron for the entire time. We never went to staff. We never became facts. We flew all the time. And as a safety officer, the first 6 months in that squadron, we had no accidents at all. Then I went to R&R, and I went to see my family in Hawaii. We got one trip, R&R, rest and relaxation. And then when I came back, as I checked back into the squadron, they said, oh, we had an accident. One of the pilots that we had flying with us that came out of group, which was the next level above the squadron, had flown a mission, and when he landed, as soon as he landed, he had a fire warning light in his left engine. Well, you're on the ground. What you should do? Shut the engine down. He said, well, everything looks okay. And he taxied into the fuel pits. As he taxied into the fuel pits, the fellows on the ground started saying, you've got a fire. Shut down, shut down, shut down. He did. Well, by doing all that taxiing back to the fuel pits, he destroyed the aircraft. It actually had to be taken out in a barge. He basically destroyed the keel of the airplane. The fire was so hot. So that was the first accident. Then we had multiple accidents after that. So that I was, like I said, I flew about 286 combat missions. I probably would have flown more if I wasn't writing accident reports so much.